Finally, morality. What's interesting is that we are supposed to be Darwinian primates, and yet we have within us this unshakable conviction that we should frequently act against our self-interest. I'm walking in the riverbank, I hear someone shout, "Help, help, help." I'm not a very good swimmer. If I want to perpetuate my genes, I'll keep walking. That's not my wife or my daughter, that guy's no one to me. And yet if I keep walking, a little voice in my head says, "No, you really should try to help him, but I can't swim that well." This voice that we can't avoid, we all have it. In fact, if we don't have it, we're sociopaths or psychopaths. The person who has no morality, no conception of it. And this morality frequently militates against self-interest. It has no Darwinian explanation.
You're a shithead. There is a Darwinian explanation. Yes, we often act out of compassion, and yes, we often do so in ways that are contrary to our survival and fecundity. This, however, is not evidence that compassionate behavior cannot be produced by evolution. Natural selection does not only select traits which are of perfect absolute advantage. Quite often, it also selects traits which merely bestow a net advantage. It will often also permit the existence of traits which are of no net advantage at all, as long as they do not produce a net disadvantage. Our brains have the capacity for empathy because despite the fact that it causes us to occasionally act in a way that is disadvantageous to spreading our genes, it causes us to act in ways that provide enough of a survival and reproduction advantage as to more than make up for the disadvantages of this behavior.
The first question to ask is, if we are Darwinian primates, who cares? Why on earth would a dog care if a cat gets bitten? Why on earth would we, if our goal in life is to perpetuate our genes and promote our own self-interest, we would be relatively indifferent, particularly to the sufferings of strangers?
As I've already explained, the reason why we care is because our capacity to care, even though it is occasionally toward ends that are not advantageous to us, still confers a net advantage. This isn't only a human phenomenon either. Anyone who has seen that video of dogs breaking up cat fights knows that sometimes dogs do care if cats get bitten. Next, D'Souza takes issue with the idea that what makes a person's life valuable is that person's capacity to value it.
Let's make it more precise. Let's take people who have Alzheimer's disease, who in a sense have no real comprehension of life. In that sense, they've lost, as you say, not only the ability to consciously enjoy the past, the present, they have no projection in the future. Let's say the proposal is lethal injection for all people with Alzheimer's who have no family. Are you for it or against it, and why?
I'm against it because people with Alzheimer's have had a period of life when they have been, like you and me, capable of deciding how they want to live and how they want to die.
A person's wishes regarding how they want to be treated if they develop severe Alzheimer's should be at least as respected as a person's wishes regarding how their bodies are handled after death. If a person wanted to be cremated, I don't think that should be ignored simply because they are dead. And if a person wants to be kept on life support after entering a persistent vegetative state, I don't think that should be ignored simply because they are no longer capable of caring what happens to them. This is not for their sake because they no longer have the capacity to suffer. This is for our sake, the sake of those of us who still have the capacity to care about what will happen to our bodies in such scenarios.